if you thought that All-Star Open had a lot of action for you, wait till you see what we've got in store for you here and now. It is the 1UP All-Star Race for 2026, where 25 of 1UP's absolute finest will have a no-holds-barred battle for 70 laps here for the ultimate bragging rights, glory in this biggest of non-points races of the year. And it's here at Iowa Speedway, a 7/8 mile short track in Newton, Iowa. That'll be the Coliseum for this great battle. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope you stick around for the entire thing, because this is what 1UP Racing is all about. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for this big all-star race is Jesse Turner with us once again. Great to have you with us once again, because that Open had a lot of interesting things play out in it. And now we've got the absolute best of the best doing battle for a much longer race distance, and our 3 transfer drivers starting at the back. So a lot to go over. I don't even know where to begin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's got all the cars and stars of the 1UP Superstar Series that you need to have here in this one. Just a great crowd on hand today. Just a fabulous warm-up for this main all-star race that the Open was. So again, great job to Brian Grigsby for winning, and also Zayden Davidson for finishing second, transferring that way, and Cody Goforth for getting that fan vote. That's got to feel great for him, but they'll have the most amount of work to do out of everybody riding in the 3 shotgun positions on the field, though. But still, this is looking to be real good here this afternoon.
It really ought to be, because we've got a lot of superstar royalty. We've got our defending series champions from the lower divisions, some of whom are making their first ever appearances in a 1UP Superstar car. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how they acclimatize in a very rapid fashion, and which of these Superstar regulars will be able to bring the fight to their peers and come out on top in this ultimate battle for supremacy. But with that being said, we can now bring you the starting lineup. 25 cars strong for this all-star race, including our 3 transfers, but leading the field to green, it is the number 6 LG Electronics Chevrolet Camaro for Robbers Racing, with Joshua Michaels at the wheel. He's got Devin Fair alongside him at the start for JHM Racing. Devin's got to be thrilled to be starting on the front row of this race, because he knows he must have been watching that Open, and he knows where Brian Grigsby started to go on to win that race. He's got to be feeling pretty good about his chances starting from the exact same position this time around.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And also, there's also the multi-time winners that we've had so far, like Miles Mashburn, Jake McMillan, and Lane Sanders. I mean, basically, everybody that's gotten to have a credential to get in, they definitely earned their part in the start of the season, but you can never really expect which one will rise on top. It could be Paul Villalobos in 13th. This is his first ever All-Star appearance. I mean, he might be one of the contenders too. So 70 laps can be a lot for us to behold.
And one quick shout, Cameron Brennan, who squeaked into this all-star race at the very last minute by winning Talladega last week. He'll roll off from 20th. I'm curious to see what that 90 car is capable of to join his Sanders Performance Autosport teammates in the main event here tonight. But with that being said, we've got 25 of 1UP's absolute best ready to take on Iowa for 70 laps. That can only mean one thing. It's the 1UP All-Star Race from Iowa Speedway, and the green flag set to get this great race underway. Stay tuned, folks. This is the main event. This is the one you don't want to miss. Field rolling out of turn 4. It is Michaels on the inside line, Devin Fair up high, leading us to the restart zone. The green flag is out. We're all-star racing at Iowa Speedway, and this time the inside line gets a much better start than it did in the Open. Michaels leads the way down in the turn 1. Ben McDonald already thinking about a peek to his inside. He's not even waiting until the end of the first lap. Fair gets into the wall a little bit out of turn 2. That opens the door for McDonald to make a huge lunge into turn 3. All from third on the grid. Ben McDonald making a move. Oh, and Fair into the wall once again out of turn 4. That car is not handling to the liking of the former series champion.
Yeah, Devin Fair is still stuck on the outside. Those were 2 pretty significant hits right there. He nearly got into it again. I don't know if he's tight or what. But now how about the 12th Ben McDonald zooming away into the lead. Finn Guy and Michael side by side for second. And then you got third place. Oh, and the 21 in the wall again. He is just falling like a rock, it seems. That's real tough to see.
especially for this driver who's been so consistent all year long. Top 10s in every points race this season, but now he's barely hanging on to that kind of position here in this all-star race, and now he's under fire for the position from Stephen Gale. But making our way back to the front of the field, we see Eric DeMax in this 61, a fourth car for Venta Motorsport. He's making his first all-star appearance. He's running in 6th position, but it's his boss man that's in control of the race so far. Ben McDonald from 3rd on the grid. He's led every lap up to this point.
And McDonald's just going to be exactly like Brian Grigsby was in the Open. Just take the lead, don't look back, and forget what's going on behind you. And he's already opened up to nearly a 5-second lead. You can just see the damage on the right side of that 21. It's just crunched up, that Honda. But now there is the Open winner, Brian Grigsby, racing with his teammate Ryan Caggiano just outside the top 10. But now Grigsby, he's risen up quite a lot. And oh no, Fair's got into the wall again. That's even more damage onto his race car.
And you gotta be thinking that every hit to that outside wall is making that car handle worse and worse. He has fallen from 2nd on the grid to all the way now down into 21st position in just 5.5 laps. That is a disaster for Devin Fair, and Lane Sanders isn't that far off. Oh, and problems for our fan vote winner, Cody Goforth, who has just come out of the pit lane with a suspected oil leak on that 64 car. They've patched it up, they've set him on his way again, but he is now a lap down, close to going 2, as a matter of fact. So Goforth's going to need a quick caution to get him back into the game here. Oh, Mashburn with a big shot into the outside wall. That's going to cost him ground in his battle with Christian Vargas, and that's opened the door for Cale Teskar Jr. to stick his nose in as well.
Man, first Devin Fair, now Miles Mashburn with significant hits to the outside wall. You see Eric DeMax as well as Jake McMillan. Looks like all these guys are struggling to find grip on the racetrack, and they're just sliding up into the wall. Oh, DeMax almost got into it again. But now it's going to pay off for these guys that are able to stay clean. You just got to hug that inside. You can't give it up, and you should be all right. But that still sucks for all the guys who did get a taste of that wall here at Iowa.
And DeMax especially, he was running in the top 10 for much of the afternoon up to this point, but he's now fallen out of it. Up at the front, though, Ben McDonald stretched his gap out to about 3/4 of a second. We now have all of the Robbers Racing cars running line astern in 5th, 6th, and 7th. But back here, Lane Sanders is another one that's had a rough go of things in the opening stanza of this race. He now runs in 23rd, just behind Devin Fair, who's tumbled down 21 spots in the opening 10 laps of this race. Oh man, and he's in the wall again. That 21 is having a nightmare of a start to this race. He is going to need to lock in a lot if he's going to even salvage a top 10 finish out of this.
Man, it is just full collapse here for that 21. He's glad that this isn't a points race, so he can still officially keep his top 10 streak when we go to the next points round. But yeah, that's just not like him at all for the pedigree that he has, just to be making all those kind of mistakes. But I talked about that 66 of Villalobos briefly in the pre-race, and now look at him. He's all the way up to 6th, trying to challenge the multi-time race winner of Miles Mashburn ahead of him.
And that's his team owner he's racing that hard for the spot in the top 5. Because you got to remember, this is Villalobos' first time in a superstar car since he won at Hillside earlier this year. So he's knocking the rust off very quickly. Oh, he almost slid up into his team owner there, going through 3 and 4. But to Villalobos' eternal credit, he doesn't have a scratch on that car so far. He's fought his way up. He started this race down in 13th. It's only taken him the same number of laps to crack the top 5.
That's fantastic for him. And also another guy who's just cracked the top 10 after starting down in 23rd is the Open winner, Brian Grigsby. He's already gained 13 positions since the start. What a whale of a drive this is for Brian Grigsby. It's kind of a shame he had to work through so much traffic, because if he would have advanced in the main from the get-go, he would have had a higher starting position, and he wouldn't have had to take as long to rush up there. But now here's Aiden Davidson, who transferred with Grigsby into this main event, but he hasn't quite gained as much ground. He's right behind Ryan Caggiano.
And we took a look back. Julio Caesar caught the wall off of turn 2. He's got some damage on his car. He's battling Lane Sanders. for that position. Deep in the field, Emma Kruger also with damage. This has been a very calamitous start of the race for many people, but Ben McDonald's enjoying life out front. He's led all 16 laps up to this point, and now we're just settling in to a bit of a long run here, it seems. Because look at this. We've got 3 Australians battling it out for what looks like the 13th position at the moment. Zayden Davidson, Ryan Caggiano, and AF Walsh, who is making his Superstar Series debut in this race. He's the defending Truck Series champion. That's how he gained eligibility for this race. That 09 car, when Finn Guy Saitomi Motorsports is putting on a real show.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly surprised, Griffin, that with all the wildcat attacks we've had, we have not gotten a yellow. Like, there's multiple stripes here around the outside wall at Iowa, but nobody went around, nobody ended up crashing, so the green flag has been in the air ever since. But we're looking at Max and Fair engaging in a battle for position. You got Cameron Brennan and Lane Sanders, 2 of the spot teammates. Also behind him, Sam Denoto, who came oh so close to that victory at Talladega. He's going to the inside of the Talladega pole sitter, Stephen Hunter.
And Hunter was running in the top 10 earlier in this race. He must have gotten caught on that outside line and dropped back a bit. He's now currently in 17th place, just behind Sam Denoto, just ahead of Devin Fair. Here's that triple Australian battle I was talking about earlier. Oh, Hunter got the wall a little bit. Out of 2. And to Max, he's really struggling out there. He's the biggest dropper of the race so far. He started up in the 7th position, but the wall has not been his friend today. He's now running down in 21st. Tough break for him, but up at the front, it's his boss man, like we said earlier, Ben McDonald. He's led all 20 laps of this race so far, but he's missing out, probably for the best, in his mind, on an excellent 3-car battle for second place between Finguy, Vargas, and Tescar. But we're looking right now at Brian Grigsby. He's our biggest mover in the race so far. He won the All-Star Open, and now he's doing battle with Stephen Gale to move up into the 9th position.
How about that for Grigsby? I mean, hey, 70 laps is still quite a long ways away. We're not even at the halfway point yet, so Grigsby should have some time on his hands to keep advancing his way up, even though it's at a much slower pace. But there is McDonald. Already almost a full second ahead over Finguy, Vargas, and Tescar Jr. And then another 2.7 seconds back to Villalobos. But now it seems like with less and less side-by-side racing, all these guys are trying to race somewhat more stable now. But not Christian Vargas, though. He wants to steal that second place away from Finguy and kick him back.
Yeah, and he wants to bring Cale Tescar Jr. in the 51 with him. Remember, their teammate Zayden Davidson had to start out back because he had to transfer in through the Open, so they've got their work cut out for them to get all 3 Revolution Racing cars up into the contention for this win. They've got 2 of them up there. We're going a little ways back to keep our eye out for 4-car, but look at this. Brian Grigsby started this race in 23rd. He's about to make a pass on our pole sitter. That just goes to show you the up-and-down nature of this race. If you look at the rest of the field, bringing up the rear, our defending modified champion, Ashton Blevins. He made the Daytona 500 earlier this year, which is very impressive. He's running full-time in the Nitro National Series, but I think this race at Iowa is really testing him. He runs 24th, last of the cars on the lead lap, and only ahead of Cody Goforth, who we've already mentioned his troubles today.
Yeah, for sure. Now we got Joshua Michaels under siege from Brian Grigsby onto the front straightaway. And again, like a lot of the field has gotten a lot more spread out now, but Jake McMillan's lurking back there in the 10th position, Daytona 500 champion. And I am noticing on the leaderboard, Finguy's just keeping that margin from going above 1 full second. He's been doing pretty good, just making sure it doesn't get to a larger margin, but obviously the 12, he's been running right there, and now it goes over a full second. So McDonald, so far going untouched in this thing.
And we've seen McDonald dominate these races in the past. It's honestly a bit of a surprise. He entered this race 18th in the Superstar points with only a single top 10 to his name this season so far. It's really rare to see this level of struggle from a top-tier driver and team like that 12 car. So hopefully, if he can win this All-Star race, he'll be able to take this momentum and bring it with him towards the road course portion of the season in the summer. We know how good he is at those types of tracks. Hopefully, he can keep the momentum going, because boy, does he need it.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be good for McDonald to get as he opens up another 10th on Finn Guy. So far, the top 10 really has remained the same. The only car lap down being Cody Goforth. But so far, I don't really see any lap cars that the leader of McDonald will be approaching as of now. But obviously, Ashton Blevins, he's the last car in the lead, lap in the 55. So he'll look to run up on him for a little bit. Grigsby still hasn't gotten around Michaels, and Ryan Griffin up ahead hasn't gotten around Mashburn.
Yeah, I'm a little curious about this 9 car of Grigsby, because he had such a meteoric rise through the back half of the field in the opening portion of this race, but ever since around lap 20 or so, he's kind of stalled out trying to get by Joshua Michaels. Maybe he's used up his stuff a little earlier than he wanted to, but I don't know. I was looking forward to seeing what this 9 car could do in this race, and he's still done a spectacular job in the process of getting to this point, but he hasn't really progressed much further than where he's at now.
Yep, we're coming up to the halfway point, which is looming a little bit. You see the right side damage on the 9 of Walsh, making his inaugural appearance in the 1UP Superstar Series, even though it doesn't really count, but this is still great seat time for AF Walsh. Riding ahead, Devin Fair, who I thought was going to be in worse shape. He did pick up a couple positions, actually. Did Devin Fair. He was running down in the 20s, but he's picked it up to 16th OC, so he's made a little bit of a recovery.
But this is bad news in the making for the Cody Goforth team. Bad situation, potentially getting worse, because unless he gets a caution relatively soon, he's in danger now of going nearly 2 laps down. And you can make up 1 lap under yellow pretty easy, but if you go 2 laps down, that is a big-time problem. As you see, Finn Guy getting freight trained up top by the Revolution cars.
Oh boy, and that's not what the 92 wants to have happen to him. And now he's went from 2nd down to 4th, and if he's not careful, he could be under attack from Paul Villalobos. And there is Villalobos just riding around right there, as clean as can be. So that's honestly one of the cleanest looking cars in this race, aside from maybe Vargas, McDonald, and Tescar Jr. in the top 3. But again, Villalobos just really defying expectations and setting them high as he still continues to run up in the top 5.
It's honestly going to be a tough choice for Miles Mashburn, who he puts in that car full-time next year. All 3 of his Nitro National Series drivers have shown incredible pace in that car. Riley Hooper had a strong showing at Bristol. Angel Gutierrez has had a run of form that's been really good in his few races behind the wheel, and we already have talked about Villalobos winning in that car. So Mashburn does not have an easy choice to make when it comes to who he puts in that car. I hope well, regardless of who he puts in that car, they're going to do spectacularly in 2027. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But we know Miles Mashburn. He always likes to make his silly season decisions late in the process, so we'll see what happens there. But until we figure that out, looks as though he's got some real hot shoes in the Nitro National Series, and they're all putting that 66 car up the sharp end of the field. I'm looking at Brian Grigsby, though, and he is still stuck behind this 6 car. And notice the times, the intervals on your screen. These guys have fallen 2.3 seconds behind 7th place Ryan Griffin. I think this 6 car is starting to hold up the likes of the 9 and the 42 a little bit. They need to get by Michaels if they're going to make a charge late.
Yep, McMillan. He's been able to reel in the 9 and the 6, just trying to pick them off a little bit at a time right here. Of course, none of this is affecting the 12 car who's leading this race. Ryan Griffin right there, but now McMillan might have an opportunity to get underneath Brian Grigsby. Will he take it into 3? Looks like he won't do it that time, but that 42 looking to have the better car versus the 6 and the 9 right now. I'm sure it's going to be just a matter of time before he does get by both of them up into 8th place.
I really think, though, Michaels is the cork in the bottle in this situation because we know how fast that 9 car is. We've seen it in the opening portion of this race. He passed about 10 cars in the span of 10 laps. We know he's capable, as it looks like we've had more trouble. We got a pit stop here, unscheduled, of course, for the 90 of Cameron Brennan. We think it's a left rear tire going down on that 90. Sure enough, they raise the left sides, put fresh tires on it, send him back out, but he is now going to fall 2 laps off the pace. And that is a big deal for Cameron Brennan. He just barely got into this all-star race at the last minute with a win at Talladega. Now it's just going to be about him logging laps at this portion.
Yeah, fortunate for Brennan, he won't be in contention to win the big money now, but I mean, still, it's good that he did get that first career win off of his shoulders at Talladega. You know, one of the most intimidating tracks to get your first win at. I mean, a great job by the Spa rookie. But now as we see Cody Goforth, who did pass Cameron Brennan on the track, he is in danger of going a second lap down, so he'll join Brennan in that 2-lap down category, but it'll depend on how nice McDonald wants to play with him.
And going back to Cameron Brennan, at least he'll have next year's All-Star race to look forward to as well, because that win at Talladega locked him into both this year's and next year's. And a final thought on that 90 car. He now has 45 lap fresher left side tires than everybody else. I know the right sides matter a little bit more, but I wouldn't be surprised if that 90 car starts picking up the pace a little bit in the last half of this race, as McDonald finally dives to the inside of Goforth. He's no longer playing nice with the 64, and Goforth now goes a second lap down as well.
And that did cut the margin down by a couple tenths. You know, for Christian Vargas trying to catch up to the 12 car. It was 2.2 seconds. It went down to 1.9. So by virtue of being stuck behind Cody Goforth, McDonald did lose a few tenths right there with that time. Now we got to change for position. Grigsby finally getting bold and making a pass on Michaels now.
And I'm honestly a little surprised it's taken this long to get there, but it's a good thing he did, because now he'll have about 22 laps of this race to try and chase down a 3-second deficit between himself and Ryan Griffin, who's the next car up the road in 7th position. But Michaels is doing his best to hang tough in that 9th position. He's under fire from Jake McMillan. I think Michaels had good 1-lap pace to get the pole for this race, but long-run pace leaves a lot to be desired for the 6 car.
And it is a considerable distance up to where the 0-2 of Ryan Griffin is, along with Miles Mashburn. Now we're taking a look at some of the back runners in the field. Emma Kruger, Eric DeMax, Julio Caesar, Stephen Hunter, and Ashton Blevins. The 55 of Blevins, technically the last car on the lead lap. But Vargas, I do see he was able to shave a couple tenths off that lap that time by. Let's see what the margin is this time. Yeah, another tenth. So if this continues to happen, we got about 18, 19 laps to go. If it stays green and Vargas keeps chipping away, this could be a close battle for the win than we thought, but we'll have to find out in just a short while.
Of course, a caution at this point would change everything in this race. We have just under 20 laps to go now, and Cameron Brennan is now the fastest car on the track by a couple tenths a lap on account of those fresh tires. He's quickly starting to reel in the likes of Finguy, Tescar, and Vargas, but there's still a ways to go. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if this 12 car eventually catches Ashton Blevins in the 55 to put him a lap down, as he's closing in on the 55 at a considerable rate each lap. But I think this 90 is going to be a real thorn in the sides of Finguy, Tescar, and Vargas for the rest of this race, because he's got a faster car at this point than any of them do on account of those fresh left side tires.
Yeah, it makes you think if he would have put all 4 on, he'd be blazing around this racetrack, making real fast lap times, but obviously there's just not enough time left in the race for that 90 team to do that, so that spot team has sent Brennan away. Finguy is going to be his first victim, and it's just going to be it should be a quick pass, I would say. that the 90 is going to get by the 92, but then he's also got the 51 a test car up ahead. And as you said, Christian Vargas. But Vargas will also have the 64 of Goforth to deal with, too. Can't forget that as well. So that's another lap down car that the second place Christian Vargas will have to worry about. As I believe he's going by him now.
And remember, now that Goforth is 2 laps down, he's battling Cameron Brennan for position at this point in the race. The 64 and the 90 are in an actual battle for 24th place at the moment. We got 15 laps to go. Ben McDonald's lead's approaching 2 seconds. I think if we don't get a yellow flag, he's going to be pretty confident about his chances, especially considering that the 64 is now holding up all of his challengers behind. And now that the 90 has come along to spoil the things a little bit for Jeffrey Finguy, I think that's going to give McDonald a little more time to navigate Ashton Blevins and put the 55 a lap down.
Oh, there you go. And this is also going to hurt Vargas, because here comes Teskar to the inside, and that red, white, and blue M&M's machine to the inside of his teammate for second. But obviously, second is not where the big payday position is. You got to get up there to the 12 in first to receive that big money. But now the 51 and the 54 side by side, and here comes the 90 in the background underneath Finguy. So this is going to get a real exchange of positions of cars. As now Teskar is officially by Vargas. Is he going to get by Goforth with any trouble?
He's going to have a little bit of trouble, because Cody Goforth does not want to lose position to that 90 car. Cameron's further back. He wants to hold on as long as he possibly can. We're coming up on 11 laps to go this time by, and McDonald has just driven a faultless race. His gap's now almost 2.5 seconds. Now Brennan underneath Vargas. This isn't for position, but that 64 car will be for Cameron Brennan. He wants to get by, so he doesn't have to face the dishonor of finishing last in his first All-Star appearance.
Where are they going to go? Teskar has not made an attempt to pass on Goforth now. 10 laps to go at the line. McDonald's already clear ahead. And now Vargas in trouble. He might lose the third position to Finguy if he stays up on the outside. But the 90, I'm surprised he's not taking this opportunity to get by Teskar and Goforth. I wonder if the grip in the tires are just not enough for him to get around him or what. But now Finguy looks to get underneath the 54 as McDonald looks to get around the 55 to lap Blevins.
So now that should be the last lap car Ben McDonald will have to deal with in this All-Star race up to this point. And meanwhile, further back in the field, Michael's still holding McMillan up. But how about the resurgence of Devin Fair? He's not that far away from climbing back into the top 10 in this race. He's running in 12th. He's about a second behind his teammate McMillan. You see him up there in that gray car. McMillan's the final car in the top 10. If Devin Fair can put together some solid laps, get by that 52, top 10's still not out of the question for him.
Yeah, that'd be a miraculous comeback indeed for the 21 of Fair. And now it's Teskar and Vargas. They got to try and find something to do, unless that 12 is just going to keep pulling away. He's already past Ashton Blevins. Paul Villalobos with a strong top 5. And again, they're all just riding behind Cody Goforth in a single file train.
I think
on
Brennan,
the back straightaway. I know.
Here he comes. To the inside goes Cameron Brennan on Cale Teskar Jr. That wasn't for position, but now he should be able to make very quick work of the 64 of Cody Goforth to move himself up into 24th, and sure enough, that he's going to already make that move. But what that did, it opened the door for Christian Vargas to get underneath his teammate as well. This is for second. Jeffrey Finguy waiting in the wings. If these two have a coming together, which we've seen before between teammates in this All-Star race, that could open the door for Finguy to take second, as we have 5 laps to go.
Just like that, this All-Star race has blown by, and if a caution were to come out, I don't believe that would give us enough time for a restart. And with, already over a 3-second lead that McDonald has over Teskar, soon to be Vargas, there's just hardly any glimmer of hope left for the rest of the competition. And McDonald's team is just telling him, take it easy, 3 more laps, until you get the big win.
Yeah, and I think these guys have realized it. They're in the battle for second unless McDonald has a catastrophic failure in the dying stages of this race. But we're coming up on 3 laps to go. McDonald has an almost insurmountable lead at this point, and these guys are starting to realize that they're battling hard over second position. Teskar, Vargas, and Finguy, 3 of the best to ever do it in the Superstar Series. But you got to give credit where credit's due to Ben McDonald, who's been dominating this race, and behind them, Paul Villalobos is still hanging on to a top 5. He could end his All-Star debut with a top 5 finish, and that'd be a big deal for that guy and that team.
That'd be fantastic to see for sure. I mean, of course, if this was a points race, they'd be racking up a good amount of points, but in an exhibition race like this, it's all about the win. And these guys are just fighting for scraps behind the 12 cars. He comes off the turn to take the white flag here for this All-Star race today.
1 lap to go, and as Ben McDonald powers his way into turn 1, this race, I don't think, was ever in doubt from the moment he made that daring 3-wide move into turn 3 on the opening lap of this race, and that was what made all the difference. So, as he rounds turn 3 and 4 for the final time, make it 2 exhibition race victories and 2 attempts for Ben McDonald. He won the shootout. He's now won the All-Star race as well. Ben McDonald, a clean sweep of exhibition races in 2026. Excellent job from that 12 team. He's got a lot of momentum to take with him into the next points race. Christian Vargas and Cale Teskar Jr. complete the podium. Valiant effort from both. Jeffrey Finguy as well, right on their coattails in 4th. And how about Paul Villalobos? First All-Star appearance, and he brings it home in the top 5. The highest finishing Robbers Racing car for good measure. Ahead of Miles Mashburn in 6th. Ryan Griffin 7th. Our open winner, Brian Grigsby, he did a very good job today. He might have stalled out at about 8th place halfway through, but I don't see a scratch on that car on any side of it. So that's an incredible job from him to keep his nose clean and bring it home in the top 10. Michaels and McMillan complete the first 10 finishers.
Yeah, again, you can't say enough about how great that was for Ben McDonald. I mean, that certainly made up for Henry Thomas not being able to make the show, but at least his teammate McDonald gets to celebrate the biggest out of anybody, and now it'll be up to him and his team to translate that into a points race win. They got a great shootout win on the Daytona Beach, and now this All-Star race win here at Iowa, and they'll celebrate like millionaires today, so hopefully this luck can translate over to future rounds for him.
It ought to, because we're coming up on a couple road courses now, and Ben McDonald is very good at those. We'll see how he does next time out. It was supposed to be on the streets of Dubai. We've pushed that race back a little bit. So next time we see you on track for the Superstar Series, it'll be out in the northern forests of Finland at Karjala Raceway. We've had a race before there. Miles Mashburn was the victor on that occasion. I'm curious to see if he can double up or if someone new will be able to grace victory lane out there. But until that point comes, from Jesse Turner and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for an absolutely epic night of All-Star Racing. We'll see you again in Finland for round number 10 of the season. And congratulations to Ben McDonald, who he may have not won a points race yet this season, but he has had a clean sweep of exhibition events this season, and I'm sure that's going to be something he can hang his hat on proudly. But I'm sure that win, that first points win, ought to come pretty soon.